Hi, it's Paige.
And Tammy.
And today we are actually inside and we're going to be talking with Steve. Welcome with A to Z Inspections.
How are you?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being part of this
Thanks for having
today.
me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions that people have and
It's an important step in the process.
Definitely.
I think sometimes people don't understand how important it can be,
Exactly.
right?
So let me ask you a few questions. So how long have you been an inspector?
Going on about 4 years.
Oh, awesome.
It's been a fun ride.
I bet you've seen some interesting things.
Tammy typically brings them. But yeah, no, we've seen a lot.
Got it. Okay.
Alrighty then. So let me ask also, so should an inspector be specialized in residential or does it matter if they also do commercial? What do you think
So
somebody should look for?
yeah, so State of Arizona has a license for residential home inspectors.
Okay.
There's actually no license for commercial inspections.
Okay.
Okay. But you want somebody that knows residential inspections.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So why is an inspection performed?
We don't have a great knowledge of this home before we get in there and look at every surface in the home. The home could be, back, dated to the 1800s here in Arizona, all the way up to a new build, but they're all going to have different things that need attention.
Okay. So when you go in, what is it that you're actually looking for? Is there anything specific that you're looking for?
We look literally from top to bottom, inside and out. We're looking for even the smallest details, cracks in the drywall, door handles put on wrong. We try to find even little stuff.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. I've seen his inspection reports and they're pretty darn thorough.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So when exactly is an inspection performed then?
So you go under contract for a home and you have a 10-day inspection period. I highly recommend all of my agents that I work with that we get in there within the first 48 hours, okay? That way, if I find something that needs further review, a specialist, a roofer, an AC company to come out and look at that specifically to get a better understanding of what's wrong, we have that time and availability.
Okay. How long does it normally take you to perform the inspection?
It's about an hour for every 1,000 square foot is a rule of thumb. However, if there's, a house has 3 kitchens in it, it's going to take longer than Fountain Hills. We've got some big houses out there.
Wow.
So that's a
be my
general
house.
rule of thumb, right? Is about an hour per 1,000 square foot. So, 1,500 square foot home, we're going to be there probably an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay. And do you look at the pools as well, or do you recommend them having an actual pool inspector come out?
So we do a basic pool inspection. We look at the surface, we look at the plumbing, look at the pumps, the electrical, and say, hey, everything looks pretty good. Okay. And we also provide a sample of water to have fully tested to ensure that the water doesn't need to be drained because there's too much chemical solids or anything like that.
Oh, okay. So do you think that the buyers should attend the inspection?
Always. We absolutely love it whenever they come out. We invite them to come out for the last half hour to an hour. It's really a chance for them to become educated about the home, learn where the water shutoff is, what type of AC unit they have, how often they need to have it serviced, things like that. They get a great knowledge education about the home.
Do you feel that their agent should be present at the same time, or is that something that's just kind of a preference for the agents?
It's definitely a preference for the agents.
Okay.
We have some that do, some that don't, some that are busy out showing other homes and aren't able to make it.
Okay. Yeah, I know I definitely like to be there just because if questions come up, I'm hearing it firsthand from you. What about a buyer if they say that they want to do their own inspection? Is that something that you think is a good idea, or no?
Different trades people out there are definitely have some of the knowledge that we have. However, this is what we do 2 to 3 times a day, 7 days a week. So we're looking at some of the little details that can turn into big problems. I was talking with another agent a couple weeks ago that had a buyer do their own inspection. Several of the drains inside the home were slow. They're like, oh, just a little Drano, we'll fix it. First off, Drano's bad.
Very
Don't
bad.
use
Don't use Drano.
I've been told for years, don't use Drano, it will eat your pipes,
Yes,
right?
yes, it's an acid,
Eats
so it'll
the
literally eat
pipes.
the acid.
Don't use
or eat
Drano.
the pipe, so.
Or you will have a really big leak.
But there was a tree that the roots grew into,
Ooh,
so
that's
instead of them spending a
That's
couple
bad.
$100s on the inspection, they're spending several thousands of dollars to be able to even use their home because their sewer connection's completely blocked.
Well, with that then, how much does it normally cost to have an inspection done?
So for that home, it would have been $300 because it was about 1,000 square foot, okay? We would have seen these drains, multiple drains, slow draining, and would have recommended a plumber come in that could have scoped the line for under $200 additional and would have been able to have this resolved by the sellers instead of them being surprised by it.
So definitely a must to have an inspector come out and take care of the inspection.
We provide either a great value, meaning we find things that cost way more than the inspection cost, or we provide great peace of mind.
Now, I've obviously seen your inspection reports because I do use him. They're anywhere from 40 to 75 pages. Do you ever worry that kind of like freaks the buyers out that there's so many pages there? I mean, yours are pretty thorough.
Right. So we don't provide just issues in the home. We provide information on the home. It's kind of like a handbook for the owners, so they can go through and be like, hey, how old is my water heater? Oh, it was built and installed at this date. So we tell all the buyers, hey, there's a lot of information here, right? And it's a good read when you have time. But we could also provide a summary report that just lists out our action items.
Okay, so they don't have to technically like read through the entire thing. The summary just breaks down everything that you feel that there's an actual issue with,
Correct.
and then they can just use the rest of it for later when they
Yep.
want to look back at something.
Okay, and I think it's important too that because there could be 70 things listed right on the report as things that could be issues, but it could be a loose handle or a loose.
Correct.
So there are items that you could point out and say, slow drains, multiple slow drains, that's an issue. A
Exactly.
handle that needs a screw,
Right.
not so much an
It's a
issue.
weekend project.
Right,
And we try to communicate that in the inspection, going, hey, you need a new garbage disposal. It's a very inexpensive item to replace, and it's a good weekend chore to be able to do that. FYI, make sure you knock out the drain plug for the dishwasher. So, but yeah, we talk about all that and educate them on, this is a home they own, right? They
Right.
don't have anybody to call to fix things, and they need to be able to look at different resources to gain education on the home.
right, absolutely. Well, great, that's great information.
Yeah, so I feel like when the buyers leave, they have a little more sense of what they're walking into. I mean, when you walk in to see a home and view it, your eyes are all about, oh, I love this home, I can't wait to be here, it's got the rooms that I want, it's got the kitchen that I love, but then there's kind of like the back end, what's behind the scenes.
Because
So-
at first, I think there's that immediate
Right.
emotional
Right.
attachment.
right?
Where you, the nuts and bolts of it,
Exactly.
right, to break it down and say, okay, on the surface, it's a great house. These are some of the underlying issues. And I don't ever see, in my side, very many inspections that are horrible.
Correct. It's
I've
very,
had a
very
couple.
rare. In my 4 years, I've hinted to only a few people that, hey, this might not be the right house for you,
Right,
right? It just based on their feedback that they gave me about what they wanted.
right. Thank you so much, Stephen, for the information.
Appreciate
And I
that.
hope you guys out there are finding this helpful. And any questions that you guys have, or that maybe you could direct or and answer their questions in any way, put it back in comments, and we'd be happy to answer what we can or direct them to you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you again, Stephen.
Thank you.
All right, bye
Bye,
guys.
guys.